Have you ever noticed that some people always look exhausted? Not sleepy, not lazy, just completely drained. They wake up tired, go through the day tired, and somehow go to bed even more tired. The weird part? Some of them are actually the most capable people you'll ever meet. If you've watched Jujutsu Kaisen, you probably know Kento Nanami, the guy who always looks like he's already worked 3 jobs, paid his taxes, and is somehow still being asked to work overtime. He rarely smiles. He rarely panics, but he always looks tired. So why do people like Nanami always seem exhausted? The answer isn't laziness. It's psychology. Most people think exhaustion comes from not getting enough sleep, but that's only one type of exhaustion. Your body can be fully rested, while your mind feels like it just ran a marathon. Psychologists often describe mental exhaustion as the result of prolonged cognitive and emotional effort. In simple words, your brain gets tired. Every decision you make, every problem you solve, every emotion you suppress, costs energy. Imagine your brain has a battery. Every task drains it a little. Answering emails, making decisions, pretending you're fine, listening to someone complain, trying not to say what you're really thinking. By the end of the day, that battery is almost empty. Now imagine living like that every single day. That's where someone like Nanami comes in. Before becoming a sorcerer, Nanami worked a regular office job, long hours, meaningless work, constant pressure. He eventually left because he realized something. Working hard isn't what destroys people. Working hard for something that feels meaningless does. Humans can tolerate an incredible amount of stress if they believe it matters. That's why someone can spend 12 hours building their dream and still feel energized, but spend 8 hours doing something they hate, and they're completely drained. Nanami escaped the office, but did his exhaustion disappear? Not really, because now the stakes were even higher. Every mission carried responsibility. Every mistake could cost a life. Responsibility has weight, and the heavier that weight becomes, the more exhausted the person carrying it becomes. Another perfect example is Shikimaru Nara from Naruto. At first glance, he looks lazy. He's always lying down, watching the clouds, and calling everything. What a drag. But if you pay attention, he's almost always thinking, planning, calculating, predicting outcomes before anyone else even realizes there's a problem. His brain rarely gets a break. There's a reason overthinkers often feel exhausted. Thinking is work. Your brain uses an enormous amount of energy every day. The more complex the thinking, the more energy it consumes. It's like leaving dozens of apps open on your phone. Eventually, the battery dies. Shikimaru isn't tired because he does nothing. He's tired because his mind never really stops working. There's another psychological reason people like Nanami and Shikimaru seem so exhausted. They're dependable. Whenever something goes wrong, people naturally look at them. Can you handle this? Can you fix this? What should we do? Being reliable feels good at first, then it slowly becomes an expectation. Eventually, you stop solving only your own problems. You start solving everyone else's too. And carrying other people's burdens is one of the fastest ways to burn out. Then comes something psychologists call decision fatigue. Every decision, no matter how small, uses mental energy. What should I wear? What should I eat? Should I answer this message now? Should I wait? Multiply that by hundreds of decisions every day, and your brain starts looking for shortcuts. That's why exhausted people often answer every question with, I don't know. It's not because they don't care. It's because their brain has already made too many decisions. Imagine spending your entire day deciding people's lives, like Nanami, or planning battle strategies, like Shikimaru. By the time someone asks, so, pizza or burgers? Your brain just gives up. But here's the saddest part. People often mistake mental exhaustion for laziness. Someone stops replying to messages. They've become rude. Someone wants to stay home. They're antisocial. Someone seems quiet. They've lost motivation. Maybe. Or maybe they've simply been carrying too much for too long. The human mind isn't designed to stay under constant pressure forever. Even the strongest people eventually run out of energy. Not because they're weak, because they're human. That's what makes Nanami and Shikimaru such relatable characters. Neither of them complains very much. Neither asks for sympathy. They simply keep carrying responsibilities, even when they're exhausted. And maybe that's the real psychology of people who are always tired. They're often not the ones doing the least. They're the ones carrying the most, especially the things no one else can see. So the next time someone seems constantly exhausted, don't be so quick to call them lazy. You never know how many invisible battles they've already fought before the day even began.